Hot diggity dog. So happy Monday. How
Happy.
was your weekend? How's your week been? I haven't seen you or talked to you. What's going
My,
on?
my week has been nicely crazy in a very good way. It's this couple who've been I've been working with for a while who've wanted to go move into the hottest market in the city of Chicago or the Chicagoland area. Finally got a house, and we'll talk a little bit more about it when we talk about how to, we our continuing theme of how to succeed as a buyer in a seller's market.
Terrific.
How about you? What have you been up to?
Just busy living the dream, girl. I had buyers that I had out this weekend. We wrote a contract, and I'm hoping that I'm going to hear something soon on one of my larger properties. We'll see. So yeah, just busy, busy, busy.
Yeah.
Should we? Well, let me tell everybody what we're going to talk about today. How's that?
Yeah.
First, we're going to do our statistics like we always do. Then we're going to talk about why you should, even in the market that we're in right now, you should be looking to buy a home. And then if we have time left, we're going to show another special property that Kyle has dug up to share with us. So no, we're not going to do that?
I forgot to do one.
Oh, well, that's okay, because we're going to have a lot of meat, and we'll talk about properties. So anyway, and go to our Facebook pages because we have lots of great properties to look at there. So there you have it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to run through this really quick today because it's really not new. It's the same statistics through January of 2020. Median sales price in Chicago is up, up, up. We're at 450,000 in the lakefront communities. In terms of number of homes for sale, it's dipped down, but still look, we're still higher than in previous times. Now, a lot of that is generated by the condominiums, as you know, in the Loop and your North neighborhoods. In terms of number of closed sales, we were down in January, but of course we all know that's reflective of the lack of inventory and the fact that it's the slowest closing time of the year. Closing sales is a lagging indicator. What's more forward, still a lagging indicator of where the market's going, but units under contract, and that was way up in January. And
look at it compared to last January. So it's can you see? It
last January would have been right here,
right there. Whoa!
Yeah, we're up about 30% January over January.
Wow.
Absolutely.
It's usually slow when people are just starting to get their homes ready to go on the market. Look at all these homes under contract.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And I predict, tell me if you agree with me with this prediction, but I predict that our February is going to be even bigger. What do you think?
I absolutely agree. And Chicago's lakefront neighborhoods, which is what we're showing here, is doing well. The suburbs are on fire. So yeah. While this looks good and it's very, very healthy, they are absolutely off the charts.
Right.
The suburbs are hot, hot, hot. And today, I don't know if people saw, there's an article in today's Cranes about the multiple offer situation that's going on in these suburbs. Again, this is houses that are priced to sell, properties that are priced to sell, not priced to be like, ooh, let's take advantage of this really hot market, have offers lined up and will do often better than their list price. So their sale price will be higher than their list price because they've told the buying public, I'm ready to sell. I know what my house is worth. Let's go.
Right.
But I've seen also some that were priced because, hey, look, let's go on the market. We haven't done a single thing in 50 years, but woohoo, let's price it like it's finished. And those are not getting multiple offers. So, but I mean, for example, I have buyers who were looking in the North Shore, and for them, finding a house, if they were in the same price point as almost everybody else, wanting the same kinds of things, and there was just not enough inventory. We'd go to, we'd have showing appointments, and there'd be 5 people ahead of us and 5 people behind us. And it was like, uh-oh, we're never going to get this, because buyers will come in with the things that you and I have talked about, and
Right, the escalation clause.
coming in, not lowballing, trying to get attention. And in this article from Brains, they talk about how some people offer dinners out, champagne, flowers.
And that's not doing it, though, is it?
Not doing it. It's all about the money. Let's be honest, people. It's all about the money.
And you have to get creative.
And then you and I were just talking right before we came on. There was somebody very intelligently said, I will pick up the property taxes for last year, because we're tax a year ahead, we're tax a year behind, and so the seller then nets more money from a full priced offer. Let's say it's the 2 offers are equal, but I'm going to pay the taxes. You're going to get all that money more. So there are tricky ways you can make your offer higher, but not get into their mortgage, and you can still come in at X price.
Right. Well, and you know what? That is a brilliant move, because you know what? If I came in and said, I'll pay 25% more, but I need a mortgage, it doesn't matter, because they're only going to lend on the appraised value. So you're going to have to come down anyway. So it's a red herring, if you will, just, in terms of a reason to choose me over somebody else, but to offer cold hard cash out of pocket for a survey and property taxes that's a really good way to get the deal done.
Or even if you don't have property taxes, let's say you're in a $25,000 property tax district, you say, I'll pay all your closing costs other than taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And
right,
all of
right.
them people are like, okay. You know what I mean? So it ends up netting more. So just the things that one has to do to succeed in a really hot market. Chicago's not there yet, but
parts of it are. Now, I was talking with my good friend Sue Aducci, who's in the southern suburbs, and she was saying she's got 9 buyers who want to buy, but they haven't put their homes on the market because they're afraid they can't find the home that they want because they haven't found it yet. So we're having some of that action going on as well, which is quite the challenge. But today we're going to talk about more macro. We're going to talk about, generally speaking, why it's a good time to buy now, things to consider. And I'm going to bring us all back to March of 2020, when our economy ground to a halt. And all of us were like, oh my gosh, are we ever going to get this back again? And I remember a conference where they said, oh, it'll be a V recovery. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Well, wow, has it come back? Now, that doesn't mean all of our service industry is back, but real estate is certainly getting the business, and it's getting good business for lots of reasons. It's certainly an interesting time to be buying, right, Cal?
Oh my God. And it's going to be an interesting time. I think coming out of all of this, there's going to be, assuming, again, I was listening to the radio this morning, what lumber prices are up. So prices of houses are up. New construction is up. So we got to get ourselves organized with that too. So, but I think there's going to be new construction that's going to allow some more housing stock to come soon. Anyway,
sure.
Look at what you got. Yes, here are 4 great reasons.
Mortgage rates are low. Mortgage rates have hit all-time lows over and over and over and over. In fact, 12 times we've hit all-time lows in the last year. And buying is more affordable than renting, even in some places. So as it costs the same, it used to be that when you bought, the tax savings would make it comparable to renting. But now, even before taxes, in some places, it's a comparable number.
It's interesting because I share on my Facebook page and on my LinkedIn page stats, not LinkedIn page, LinkedIn feed, stats from the MLS every week. And one of the stats is the rental price. It is dipping because so many fewer people are renting because they're taking advantage of the mortgage rates. They're finally getting out of of renting it into buying. And so that's really affected the rental market significantly.
Right. And we've talked about this in the past, but if you can, you know, if you're renting downtown and paying, you know, $3,500 a month, it's cheaper to buy a single family in Avondale and have more space. So we're seeing some of that.
Yeah.
Home prices are appreciating, and we're going to show you a slide in a minute about home prices, but they can expect home prices to continue. So rates are low, buying's more affordable than renting. Owners have lots of equity, so it's worth it to sell, and home prices are appreciating. So all of those are contributing. But let's talk about home ownership. How we live in our homes, what's important to us in our homes has totally shifted since March of 2020. People are looking for very different things in their homes, right, Kyle?
Absolutely. People are working from home. Remote work is currently the new norm. Whether it stays that way, I don't know, but it's certainly going to continue for a while. People also find the value of having a home office. Even if they're going to go back to the regular office, they're going to want to have that space where they can work from home.
Right. And if they have children, those children may be in a virtual learning or a hybrid situation. And so in addition to wanting a home office, people are going to want the dedicated learning space for their children as well.
Yes. And as you were, one of the things that we're seeing is I think a number of people are going to be afraid to go back to the gym. Isn't that what you're seeing, what you're hearing?
Yeah. Yeah, well, they needed to find a way to work out at home over the last few months. And I think, number one, that's becoming a habit. You know, my son invested in Peloton, and he watched his investment increase exponentially as people wanted a way to work out at home where they were away from other people. So, yeah.
Well, now with the video, you can't, it's sort of a similar experience, but at home. But
Exactly right.
And a lot of people are really wanting outdoor space, especially when you live in a condo. You know, I live in a condo in the Gold Coast area. I don't have outdoor space, but the buildings that do have a balcony or a small terrace, those are doing really well. And we're seeing this move to the suburbs and moves to houses with outdoor space. All the listings are promoting all of the outdoor space people have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So bottom line, like what people want in a home has changed.
Yeah.
Oh, there they are. Look at that. I just gave the list. Okay.
Good.
Now let's talk about the housing market because, okay, so far we've talked about the economic atmosphere currently. Mm-hmm. We've talked about what people's goals and or how they use a home has changed. So let's talk about what the forecast is for the next few months. Yeah. And everybody seems to be bullish, right?
Everyone seems to be bullish. I mean, some of the factors that the experts, the people that the market looks to, are pointing out is now that we've been spending so much time in our homes, a high quality home is so much more important. So people are trading up. Their home builders are buying land, and I think we're going to start seeing in the coming month and couple of years real growth in building.
Yeah, I think that's really true. And of course, they're all predicting not just that we've seen appreciation so far in the past, but the appreciation in the future. The average of the big 7 is 5% appreciation in the next year. So that being said, it makes more sense to be buying before the beginning of that 5% than at the end of that 5%, right?
Yes. And here's the thing, to take a look at those numbers. Appreciation means that for people, so here we're going to talk a little bit more about this, but if you get a loan for as much money as you can get a loan for, even if it's like a 97% mortgage, because appreciation means that you will get to your 20% equity and not have to pay that mortgage insurance more quickly. And you'll have this relatively inexpensive loan, more house, more everything. So It would be dangerous to get a big loan when prices were starting to come down, but to get a big loan when prices are just going up is a really smart move.
Very good point.
Yeah.
Very good point indeed.
Oh, here we go. Typical mortgage payment.
So yeah, between the interest rates and where prices have been and so forth, January of 2012, when we were at the lowest in prices, you could get a good, well-priced home, but that's gone. We're not going to see that again. But looky at today at $826 per month as a typical mortgage payment, compared to even June of 2006, it's, almost half as much.
Yeah.
It's so affordable. Affordability is right there right now.
But note that it's time to jump. I mean, still, 3.17% is lovely, but it isn't 2.92%, which is the second quarter of this year. Rates are expected to move up, to inch up. We can't predict the future. They may not, but they are expected to inch up. You will never find it more affordable than right now to buy a home. I mean,
and that's it. It's the combination of the price point and the interest rate. And we're at a really good spot, and we know both are going to go up. And I love this chart because it shows, again, that interest rates are low. As you said, they're going up, but they're still at great levels.
But let's also remind ourselves, look at that mountain that is 2018. That was 4.8%.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
Right.
So much lower than what I paid when I got my mortgage 150 years ago. So it looks like a mountain, but it really, but you still, I would want 2.9. Gosh.
Yeah. Which means let's do it now.
Yeah.
So this is a topic we haven't really discussed before, but there are options for homeownership assistance, down payment assistance.
Yes. Yes. And there's, and those programs exist. Some of them are rural. Some of them are, different, and you should talk to your lender about these programs. Secondly, there is talk that in the next big COVID bill, that there's going to be this tax credit for first-time home buyers up to $15,000 of down payment. And it's not a tax that you wait on. It's a credit that comes in right away. So you can change your withholding to reflect the fact that you're going to get this $15,000 tax credit. So that's huge for affordability.
Well, and if that, we can't promise that's going to be, but if it does come, it's going to be one of those where it's available and you have to take advantage of it now, which it's not going to say, oh, by the way, wait, and 6 months from now you can save on it. It's going to be like right now.
Right now.
So my point is, if you're renting today, you need to speak to your lender. You need to talk about the options. So when that hits, you're ready to go.
And you want to have $15,000 as at least in a down payment, because you want the full benefit of that tax credit.
Exactly. Right.
So start talking to your lender now.
Yep, absolutely.
And we have lenders, you met one of them, Carol Ann, on last week's show. So we've got people for you to talk to who will really be helpful and answer your questions. We won't be there. This is you and a mortgage professional privately. So, it's all good. Okay.
We've talked in the past about tips for making a good offer, but we want to run through it one more time really quickly. Top line, just to remind you things to think about. And the first thing you need to think about is listen to your trusted real estate advisor, that being us.
So we'll get you on a journey, on a path to finding the right kinds of properties, the kinds of properties you want, and we'll sort of show you the way through it. But the first way through it is, as we've said just now, understand your finances, talk to a mortgage broker. If it's your bank, if you're really 100% in love with your bank, talk to your bank. But sometimes you can get a better rate than your bank by talking to a broker who tells you about a lot of different programs.
And have that pre-approval so you can, number 3, be ready to move quickly. Once we find the right place, we want to move on it and take advantage before everybody else.
Yes, and a lot of people think, well, let's do lowball offers. This is not necessarily the market where a lowball offer is going to succeed. It's only going to succeed with properties that have zero interest because they're priced crazy. So a lowball offer is actually a fair offer because it reflects the market. But this is a market where sellers have options, and if you come in low, they're going to be like, "You're not serious."
Right. And be a flexible negotiator, like we talked about at the top of the show. You want to work with your real estate agent and come up with ways that make your offer win. It's not just always the price. It could be closing date. It could be different little contingencies. It can be about occupancy. It could be about paying the survey in last year's property taxes. There are all kinds of ways that we can help you win.
Yeah.
All that in mind, this is something we haven't talked really about except for with Carol Ann, but let's remind you one more time.
Yes.
Right, Kyle? The things not to do after applying for a mortgage.
Well, we don't, I think, really appreciate all the things that go on that affect your credit score. We don't, there is such a record, record of what we are doing with our finances that you've really got to stand absolutely still once you've applied for a mortgage up through closing, because the day before they confirm it. You just have to stand still. So what are some examples? Don't deposit.
Well, number 1, don't deposit additional cash into your account. And I know that sounds really odd, but they track what money's going in and what money's coming out. So if all of a sudden some cash shows in that is not accounted for, that's going to be a huge red flag.
You've got to have written trail that explains that money, or they're going to it'll derail things.
Mm-hmm.
Do not make any large purchases. Certainly not on credit, because what will happen is if you get a loan to purchase a new car, or they'll pull your credit, and that's a hard pull on your credit, which will affect your credit score. So just hold on. The day after you close, make a purchase, but not before.
It's tempting to go buy the furniture for the house so you have it for closing, but don't do that. And don't co-sign loans for anybody. Even if you're not the primary, you don't want to guarantee or co-sign any loans for friends or family between when you apply and when you close.
Don't change bank accounts, and don't pool money. Don't move money from one bank account to another bank account to make it easy for you to do the wire transfer at the end.
Exactly right.
If you need 3 wire transfers, do 3 wire transfers, but don't mess around with your bank accounts.
Exactly right. And don't apply for new credit either. Again, you might think, oh, if I apply for a credit card at this furniture store, then I can save 10%. You know how they say to you at the checkout, don't do that.
No.
At least not during this 2-month period.
Yes, and this is something that is it seems counterintuitive. Don't close any credit accounts. And you think to yourself, well, if I don't have that Macy's card anymore, then, so what? It actually shows that I'm smart about my money. No, they want to. You are able to have a Macy's account, and closing an account somehow is a bad thing. For example, I used to have a Barney's card, and because Barney's went out of business, and so the card ceased to exist. I got a notice from one of these things. Oh, your credit score is affected. You closed an account. Well, I didn't close an account. The account went away.
They closed you. They closed them.
It was them. But that affected my credit score. So
Yeah.
again, just stand perfectly still, hold your breath until closing.
Yep. Good point. So now talk to your lender about it. Disclose everything. The more that you confess to them, the more they're able to help you in dealing with any issues. So, the main thing is the day you apply should be exactly how it is the day you close. And if that's the case, I'm sure you'll be in fine shape. So today we've talked about the Chicago market. We've talked about what's going on economically. We've talked about why now is a good time to buy. We've talked about the forecast, which is we expect interest rates to edge up and we expect home prices to go up approximately 5%. And that's nationwide, remember, but that's the overview. We've talked about how there are going to be first-time buyer credits potentially, but certainly there are other programs as well. We've talked about how to put in a good offer and what not to do between contract and close. And we did all that in 25 minutes. Whew! Whew! There's lots more than just these top line recommendations. And that's why we would love to talk with you one-on-one. When you have an opportunity, we do buyer consultations, seller consultations in person or on Zoom or over the telephone. We are technologically forward, right, Kyle?
Absolutely. And next, we promise to have pretty properties to look at.
We'll have pretty properties to look at then. But again, go back to our Facebook pages, look at our YouTube channels. We've got all kinds of properties. And we also have Zenlist for you, which is a proprietary search tool that gets you into the private listings and everything the moment they hit the market. So
I've got a link on my email signature. So send me an email, I'll send it back to you.
There you go. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you next week on Monday Morning Coffee with Kyle and Ann.